training, absorbing industry practices and standards, and building a massive clientele. I've developed a product for cancer clients called the Bump. Currently, I've teamed up with Giovanni & Sons to be a world-class premier hair vendor, along with a variety of technical tools for the trade. You've probably seen a lot come across our path in the last few years. Competition's growing, and so it's our job to find what are the best, most efficient, and safest tools to be using for those customers that come in that need hair enhancement. We're looking at securing a new location now as part of the expansion in Beverly Hills, right across the street from the Peninsula Hotel. We'll be neighbors of Amanda. We currently service with an array of hair fairies or independent contractors, Las Vegas, Miami, and New York. We have begun filming for our new reality show. Ta-da, it's today. And we now deliver worldwide online training, products, and continued support to members only, also providing online instructional template licenses for you. So as you develop your niche and your mastery of what it is you're doing, whether it's coloring, or you have an expertise in cutting hair enhancement, or you have an expertise in working with the cancer patients and putting those pieces on and actually, you know, changing people's lives, we have the option for you to be able to put your training online as well, so that other people can learn what it is that you're doing that's successful. Okay? So who we are now is I became Autumn Luxury for Hair, providing safe quality hair enhancement services with expanding locations and a year-round training academy. IBCare Hair Lounge, providing memberships, education, guaranteed products and tools that exceed current industry standards. So these are a few of our Bump clients that you will see on television and that you can actually send your clients to as you begin to start to service the industry that actually needs hair enhancement pieces. And welcome to your Master Techniques course. So what I'm going to go over today, even though it's going to be mostly hands-on, which is why you're not sitting in a class right now, is I'm going to make sure you're clear what works and what doesn't work in this industry, okay? What to avoid, what products to avoid, and conversations to avoid, okay? Surviving hair gone wild. And if you've been working in this business even 5 months, 6 months, 4 months even, you've probably seen a few hair gone wild stories of your own, okay? Items to have on hand. I'll make sure you're totally prepared for when you go out there and you are able to handle anything that steps in your door. Vendors to contact and what their specialties are. Products and uses and fixes, okay? There's some staple products in the industry, and we might even do a little sharing of what we've found over the years, okay? Speed tricks. When you're charging hourly, you have to know how to prioritize what needs to be done and how to actually do it efficiently. Photos, support materials, which I'm about to hand you your binders so you can see what you're going to go home with, which is a whole business building packet. Working and communicating with assistants. If you're building your business at any rapid pace, chances are you're having to train associates. And I'm going to make sure you leave here with a structure that allows you to do that efficiently. Okay? Completing your job, educating the customers, and clarifying your intentions. We'll go over that as we get into that portion. Okay? So this is what's in your binders. I'm going to grab them and hand them to you. We have, right now my logo is on them, but what will be deliverable to you and downloadable and printable by the 20th of this month, so I think we're a week or so, we can have away from that, is you'll be able to have all these forms without my logo on it, so you'll be able to logoize it yourself, make copies, and have it yourself. So this first batch has all of mine on it just to give you a sample of where you might put your logos, okay? And these are the areas that it covers. Selling the service, tracking the service, managing the client relationship, and training your associates, which is just key, okay? Okay, so we're at the point now where my slideshow is going on without me. Okay. Now what I want to do is bring you in and introduce you to the model that we have for today, who's that perfect client. Actually go over the client agreement and then actually go over the sectioning and speak as the lead on the job so that they are clear how they're actually layering and putting that hair on. I'm not, then you all are welcome to ask questions and answers at that time. How would you do this, and how would you do that, and what are you doing here? Then we're going to leave the model room, and we're actually going to start our hands-on with all the different departments of business. Okay? So excited. All right, so come on in. Should we just leave the last right here? You can leave your bag right here, and if you need pens, let me know. You might want to take notes in here. Just let me know. Grab your pens and your binders and come on in. Yeah, there's notes in the back. I'm just going to have you stand for Catherine. Okay, good. So Catherine called in. She lives a little far from here. So we did a little phone consultation with Catherine, okay? And what I had her do was send in a few photos, okay, of what her hair used to look like or what she'd like it to start looking like again, and what a few celebrities of hair she actually wants her hair extensions to look like, okay? Always pictures communicate a million more words than someone's description. So I highly recommend whenever you get the chance, make sure pictures are talking, okay? And this is her picture that she sent in of how close her hair looks to now. And as you can see, my printer ran out of ink, so I was pretty much blind with that one. And then what happened was we actually decided that she wants to have her hair extensions for glamour. I'd like to know the reason why people are getting them, because that sets the pace for what look I'm actually interested in giving this person, right? She wants to have long, luscious hair. She's single, and she wants to attract the boys. So I know what kind of style I need to give her, okay? So today, what we're doing is a 300 strand package, and you'll see the pricing later on today. But as we finish up with her hair, I want you will have seen it before, and then you'll see the after, and you'll see what a 300 strand package can deliver, okay? So right now, I want you to meet Guadalupe, who's our lead associate, and then Paul, who's our hair slinger, since he's not a fairy. Okay, this is Gary. He's the owner of the Beverly Hills location, and looking at the class, observing the class today. Okay, so let me get started with the client agreement. And Paul, you're going to grab the camera and get ready to take some photos. Okay, so Catherine, what this client agreement is going to offer you is a partnership. So what I want you to know is it's your job to stay in touch with us. It's your job to ask us questions. And it's also your job to follow our instructions and do what we say and nothing we don't. We don't want anybody cutting your hair that hasn't checked in with us first. We don't want anyone coloring your hair unless they've checked in with us first, because it's our job to protect your investment, okay? So if you do all that, then you fall under our satisfaction guarantee. I can actually then anticipate your results, okay? And so if you're ever traveling or you need someone else to work on your hair, ever, you would book that through the main IBK headquarters here, and we'll make sure that someone we've approved of is going to manage our work, right? So basically your job is to know the do's and don'ts, how to care for the hair. My job is to make sure you know that, and that you always be in communication with us, even if you change your shampoo. We need to know, at least for the first 6 months, right? Because we need to see how well she wears the product, okay? So I'm going to check a few places here where I want you to put your name. I'm going to sign on behalf of anyone who works on you at IBK that our satisfaction guarantee still applies, okay? And I'm initialing here. If you allow us to use your before and after photos, there's a place for you to check here. And that would be great. And then Paul's going to take those in a minute. So if you want to peruse that legal document over, that's basically the nutshell of what you're signing.
Awesome.
Okay, great. So, Paul, you want to take a couple pictures?
Just
Okay, good. So, ladies, I'm going to have you come over here. Why I set up, so what I do is I'll set up the trays. I set up 1 or 2 lead trays, and then I'll set up 1 or 2 associate trays. The associate is always working in the back of the head, And the lead is always working on the top, the no zone, the technical areas, the specialty areas, and that way you can assure both sides will get done with the same patterning. So when you're maintenancing, you want to do the same. Always an associate in the back, and always a lead on the sides. The biggest responsibility that the associate has is to make sure the lead never stops the flow. If you're charging by the hour, you want to make sure someone's hand is on the head at all times, right? So that associate would need to make sure the locks are loaded always, that the hair trays stay clean. If the customer needs anything, water, what have you, the associate is making sure that the client's taken care of. So the lead never stops, okay? And then, and how we're distinguishing the lead is they're the person that actually did the consultation, and they're the chef with the formula, and they know how it needs to end up. So the lead always distinguishes the sections, right? Where everything's going to go, how it's going to be layered. And you want to make sure that the associate, and we have hair fairy cards that are going to distinguish all this for you later, so if it's a little over your head, don't worry, because I actually have it drawn out for you. We never want to actually have the associate and the lead having questions with each other, because then that creates insecurity for the client. They think that you don't know what's happening, or one of you doesn't know what's happening. So a lot of your conversations and questions get answered beforehand, and if there is a question that needs to be answered, the associate needs to write it down and show it to the lead, right? So that's how we do it, so that we keep the client feeling confident the whole time. So you see we've done a couple lead trays and a couple associate trays. What we're doing with Catherine, since you're so short, okay, we're going to give you some trade secrets right now. They're going to save your life and your pocketbook. We're actually going to start off, you can see here these shorter pieces. We're going to reverse engineer a cut on her. So when you have a client that's this short, the first thing you need to do, and the thing you would never do, is put an 18 or 20 inch hair extension on this short of hair. Right? Because when you're putting extensions on hair, the rule is that it be twice as long as the hair you're putting it on. That's kind of the rule, right? You'll have a lot longer wearability that way. So what we've designed is a reverse engineering, hair enhancement job. So our first layer will actually be this long, then our next row will be this long, and so on. And we're packing in as many as we can, because she actually has a small head, which has limited real estate for us, okay? So we want to make sure we get as much hair on her as possible, given that she wants to be down to here, okay? And so the same thing will happen for the lead on the front. They will also put 1 or 2 rows of an undercut. That's what we call that, is an undercut. If her hair grew out naturally, she'd have natural undercut layers anyway. Okay, so that's what we're doing, and Paul's going to go ahead and finish taking the pictures. So we get a side profile and a front. No matter what, we always have to get a picture, even if it's with the client's eyes closed. We have to get a picture of who that client is for our records, in case they try to say that they never got the service done and cancel their credit cards. Okay? So you have, as long as they're close their eyes, we have to take a picture for records. Okay? And then you get a side and you get a back shot. Hi!
Hi.
Did you just join us?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
Okay, we're coming over there to meet you in a minute.
Okay.
So, no, you're fine. We'll catch you up on everything that we said. So for now, this is kind of how it goes. And then basically I like the client to go into an experience. So at this point, I try to put their first row on. The lead starts to put it in here, and they start to already see their hair as it's happening, right? So you always want to flick the hair in front, always keep it going in front so they can start to see that transformation happening. And then about halfway through, make sure you get the client lunch. Because it's really hard to have someone sit in a chair for 3 or 4 hours, right? So I always make sure they have the full experience, and then make sure that the ambiance is right. Some people, this is a life-changing experience. Make sure that your environment, if at all controllable by you, is the best how you want it for yourself, okay? One last little trick of the trade. If someone this short is going home to her significant other, and they walk in like this, "Hi, don't I look great?" The look on the other person's face might actually be surprising, because they haven't had 3 hours to get used to this new look, right? So my advice to those clients is that you wear it up in a ponytail and actually reveal it. Because if you walk in looking like yourself, then that prepares people for the transformation, right? So that's just a little trick of the trade. It'll work every time. Some people have come back so upset that their husband said, "You look like a stripper! Cut it!" Right? And I'm like, in a month you won't want to cut it, I promise. But, you know, so that kind of helps to cushion the blow for the significant other, okay? A little tip of the trade.